Hi everyone, this is Minervalous Art, and here's today's time lapse. Starting off, we have not one but 4 canvases. I have arranged them in a square. Each canvas is 6 inches by 6 inches, so in total they're 12 by 12. I'm painting a color wheel on them with a white in the center to a black at the very edges gradient with the colors in the middle of them. I've got some blue at the very bottom at a connection between the canvases, while red and yellow are more towards the middle of their canvases instead. The primary colors are red, yellow, and blue, so one of them has to go in a crack, and I chose blue. How I'm making this color wheel is I have a paint for each of the primaries, and I start making the other colors by blending them together on the canvases. This kind of looks muddy, so later on I'll go back over them with paints of the secondary colors just so they're more clear and have a better effect. Next up, I'm starting to work on that gradient. A lot of mixing going on here. I'm going over the set colors a second time and blending them together and then out to black. The yellow just did not want to work for this section, so I'm going to go back to that corner later. As you can see, this piece looks very spooky, but honestly I think it's a cool look. So the color wheel is actually a background for the next step, which is abstract line art time. Yippee! If you haven't noticed, I love doing tiny detail work and pretty much anything with lines. So for this part, I chose the main color of each canvas and then picked the complementary color of it. So for this section, the main color is purple, so I went in with an orangey yellow for the line work. This section probably features the smallest line lengths and is the most rune-like in the individual lines. There's a lot of odd angles where the lines intersect, which I think is cool. I didn't have to match it to anything else yet, so I went a little crazy. I wanted these designs to have a kind of runic, cyberpunk type vibe to them, so there's a lot of repeating line types and hard corners and angles with circles mixed in. I also wanted each square to feel different but have a united concept so they could be one piece or separately displayed, so I think it's pretty cool. The main color of the next section is green, so I went with an orangey red for the lines. I'm using a liner brush for all of these details, which takes some getting used to, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm using a lot of patterned lines and repeating the different variations throughout the process. This section is kind of random, but in a good way. It has curved lines along with repeating straight, unbroken lines. The next section's main color is yellow, so I'm using a purple for the line art. This section used a lot of line and dot combos in vertical and horizontal orientations mainly, so it's very barcode-like. The final section of this piece is mainly red and orange, so I'm using a bright teal for the line art. This section has a lot of circular motifs in it and radiating lines, which I think came out really well. And with that, we have the final piece. Here it is in its standard orientation. You can see the color wheel flows normally with the white in the center and the black at the corners. One thing I'm very proud of in this piece is that I painted each of the corners with a specific pattern or symbol in a specific place so that they all line up and can be used to realign the pieces in new ways. You can see all the orientations here. I think it's very cool how the rainbow changes depending on how the pieces turn. This is a very versatile piece and would be awesome as wall art. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video and the process. I'll see you again next time. This has been Minervalous Art.